Can you make a tutorial about GUIs? Please make a GUI tutorial, please! Alright, I've got you, my homie. Today we're making a kit selector using Visual Bukkit 6. You'll learn everything about items, GUIs, procedures and much more. Let's get into it. First things first, we need to unlock the GUI magic. Head over to Plugin Settings, then Modules, click on GUI Manager and enable it. Next, you'll need to restart your project. Just like adding a command or event, we go to Add Component and select GUI. There we go. We can give it a colored name and we can add a size. And lastly, mode, which I always recommend enabling. Now we're going to add items into our GUI, otherwise it will be empty.
Oh! Ew! What the fuck?
For this, drag in set GUI slot. These slots are numbered starting from 0 all the way up to your chosen size -1. So for a size of 27, the last slot is 26. We'll add a nice kit to the first slot, so that will be 0, and an archer's kit to the second slot. I'm planning on unleashing more awesome kits in future videos, so hit that subscribe button. Now, to actually put something in those slots, we need to talk about the item stack. It's an item, but better, with customizable specs like the material, name and lore. To add an item stack, search item stack and select it. Next, we need to specify the material of the item. We'll use a sword for the knight's kit. Add a field with the class material and select the sword of choice. Next, we'll give the item the colored name Knight. The lore will be a grand tale about Sam going on a long journey to achieve. I'm kidding, it's just a list of all the items we'll give. Pause the video and try the archer's kit on your own. I believe in you, come on! If you've done it right, you should have something like this. Now we have these pretty icons, but how do we actually see this masterpiece in game? We need a way to open the GUI. Let's add a command component. Name it something cool like kits. And when the player uses the command kits, we'll open our GUI. You see here that GUI1 refers to this GUI. Don't forget to add the command sender. As you can see, we have 2 items in our GUI, but sadly they don't do anything if we click on them. Let's fix that. Click Add Component again, but this time select GUI Click Handler. Make sure to link it to our awesome GUI. Now we need to figure out what happens when someone clicks an item. Let's start by adding an if statement. We want to check if the clicked item stack is null, meaning there's nothing there, or if the clicked item stack is error, also meaning nothing. Make sure to tick that negated mode box. We only want to proceed if we actually clicked on an item. Inside this first if statement, let's add
Another one.
This time we're going to check which slot in the GUI was clicked. Use a number comparison and check if the click GUI slot is equal to 0, which is our knight's kit slot. Some tutorials check the item, but what if you have 2 identical swords? That's why I prefer this method. Alright, buckle up again, because we're about to get a little more advanced. But trust me, it's gonna save you a ton of time in the long run. Instead of adding a bunch of individual actions to give the player their items and making our code long and unclear, especially in Visual Bukkit, we're going to use a procedure. Wait, what? Well, think of it like this. A procedure and a function are basically twins with the same goal: to avoid writing the same code over and over again, or making the code more clear. So, what's the difference between these two? A procedure is like a helpful robot that does a task and then, well, does nothing more. It doesn't give or return, how it's called in programming, any information back. A function, on the other hand, is like a calculator. You give it some numbers, or input, it does some calculations, and then it gives you a result, or output. For our kids, we just need to do something, give items, not get a result back. So a procedure is perfect. Let's add a new procedure, just like adding a command. Inside this procedure, we want to get the player's current inventory and store it in a temporary container, a variable. Now, you might notice a slight snag. We can't directly access the GUI clicker information inside our procedure. But fear not, my broskies, there's a clever workaround: the procedure argument. Think of an argument as a special delivery. It's a value you pass to a procedure or function when you tell it to run. You can think of a procedure or function as a blender, and the arguments are the ingredients you give it to make you pudding, I guess? I don't know, my cooking skills are quite questionable. So, let's add a procedure argument with an index of 0. Next, we want to make sure the player starts fresh, so let's add an action to clear player's inventory. After that, we're going to add the glorious items of the Knight's Kit. Make sure to add a list block, because that's what the action expects. Inside this list, we'll add a new object, and to truly understand new object, let's think about its opposite. We've seen before that if we want to know the player's current location, we use a method to get that location. But what if you want to teleport the player to a brand new location, one that doesn't exist yet? There's no simple get new location method. That's where new object kicks in. A new object, as the name suggests, creates something entirely new, something that wasn't in server's memory before and couldn't be grabbed from somewhere else. In our case, we need to give the player a brand new item stack: the sword, the shield, and why not a beetroot? So we use a new object and specify that we want to create an item stack. Inside this new object block, you can define a material with a field. Go ahead and set up the sword and the rest of the Knight's Kit using new object within the list. Next, we'll automatically equip the player's armor with the add armor contents method. This is a list starting from boots all the way to helmet. You can do something funny though, like giving the player an apple as an helmet. Finally, we need to go back to our first if statement in the GUI Click Handler and add an execute procedure action. In the little box that pops up, select the procedure you just created. Now, here's the magic. It asks for a list of arguments. Just add a list containing the GUI Clicker variable. This passes the information about who clicked the item into our procedure, so it knows who to give the kit to. We'll tackle the Archer's kit in a moment, but first, let's do a quick test to make sure our Knight's kit is working like a charm. Sweet, we got our gear, but let's be honest, it's quite funny, but it isn't very powerful. Let's spice things up and add some enchantments to our Archer's kit. The basic process for the Archer's kit is exactly the same as a Knight's kit, so we're going to be efficient and copying our existing procedure into our Archer's procedure. Now we're in our second procedure, ready to make our Archer's kit truly epic. We want to enchant the bow with Infinity and Power 5. First, we need to create a variable for the bow item stack using our trusty new object. After that, we need to get its item meta, which we'll also store. Think of item meta as the secret sauce that lets you change the special properties of an item, like enchantments. Add a getItemMeta method of the item stack class. Now for the enchanting magic. Add an addEnchant method from the item meta class. Here we need to select the item meta and our enchantment properties. For power 5 we're looking for arrow damage. The level is obviously 5 for power 5. And finally there's also boolean, which you can set to true or false. Setting this to false restricts the enchantment level to the standard vanilla limits, so trying to add a level 23 power enchantment won't work. However, if you want to unleash truly overpowered gear, set it to true and go wild. Next, we want to add the Infinity enchantment. Copy the exact addEnchant methods from before. The only difference this time is that the enchantment will be arrow infinite and the level will be 1, since Infinity only has 1 level. Keep that boolean set to false. Now we've added the enchantments to the item meta, but we need to apply these changes back to our bow. Add a setItemMeta method and connect the modified item meta back to our bow item stack. Finally, add this enchanted bow to our list of items to give the player. Don't forget to close the inventory at the end. Lastly, go back to your GUI Click Handler, add another if statement checking if the click slot is equal to 1. And inside that, add another execute procedure action, linking it to your Archer's kit procedure and passing the GUI clicker argument. Alright, let's put everything to the ultimate test. Our Knight's kit works and our Archer kit also works. Woo-hoo! And that, my broskies, is the magic of creating a kit selector with Visual Bukkit 6. Now, I know GUIs are a vast and wondrous topic and I haven't covered everything today. If you're hungry for more GUI knowledge, be sure to check out my blog posts. I often delve deeper into those specific aspects and share extra examples and smaller tips that might not make the cut for a video. I truly hope you enjoyed this tutorial and learned a thing or two. Goodbye!